Episode 1 of season 31 of The Ultimate Fighter just got released, and I'm going to be giving a little quick recap of the first episode. I thought it was all right, in all honesty. I was kind of excited going into it. The prospects are solid. The veterans are pretty good on the show. Well, they're all right on the show, but I was pretty excited. This is Conor, the first time we've seen Conor in about a year or two. Actually. I think it's been 2 years, hasn't it? It's been a while since we've seen Conor. At least it'll be upcoming to 2 years if we don't see him by the end of till the end of the year, actually. But we haven't seen Conor in a while. This is a really big thing for the UFC at this point because the Conor return always is. It makes them a lot of money, so they handle it a lot bigger than normal, and it is the Ultimate Fighter, so we see a lot more of them on the show. But I did think the first episode was all right. I'll probably say like 6.5 and out of 10 in general. But just to give a quick little recap of the show, obviously, just going into it, I'll kind of give what I thought was good and bad towards the end of the episode, or towards the end of the video. But I think going into there, we all saw the clip of saying like, "You'll do what you're told." Like we go 185, 155. Like they showed that at the beginning of the episode. Again, they showed the clip like, "You'll do what you're told." What Conor said to Chandler. Right after that, they met up with Dana White, did the coin flip. Basically, how they had this set up is they had 4 different groups. They had one group of bantamweights that were prospects, one group of bantamweights that were veterans, and then one group of 155ers that are veterans, and a group of 155ers that are prospects. So they broke it up that way. Coin flip, one guy chooses one group, the other group goes to the other team, and then so on and so forth. Conor McGregor ended up winning the coin toss and then choosing the 155 prospects because Lee Hammond is on that side, and that's the guy Conor really likes. Even though Brad Katona was, or at least is, training with Conor's team, he did choose Lee Hammond. I think Lee Hammond's the guy he really likes a lot. I guess he's been training with them quite a bit, so he chose them. Chandler chose, I believe, 135 veterans, which is actually a pretty decent little group there. But and then so it just ended up being prospects versus veterans. Conor McGregor getting the prospects and Chandler getting the veterans, which is kind of good and a bad thing for some of these guys. Maybe some of these guys that are with Conor McGregor, they want that exposure because they are with Conor McGregor. And then if you're with Chandler, you have that Kill Cliff team, I believe, Ryan Bader, and you have Henry Hoopt over there. So 2 really big names over there in Kill Cliff in general, especially Henry Hoopt, the top coach there. Really big dudes in Kill Cliff area, so a really big team as well that they're a part of. So if you're looking like a prospect, you're like, which one do you want to choose, more exposure or the better team that you kind of want to be around? I guess Conor's team isn't necessarily bad, but like the teams that are thriving in general right now are the Kill Cliffs, your American top teams, even your Kill Cliffs, CKB, those really super gyms. I think American Top Team and Kill Cliff are more super gyms than like a CKB, but CKB is still really a big gym. But you're just one of those bigger gyms that have multiple guys in there. Conor's kind of just stuck with that team for a while now, but I'm sure you kind of had to weigh it out as you were a prospect or a veteran. But as you can see on the screen, I guess I had it on the wrong screen or something, but these are the guys they chose. This is what it ended up being. But they ended up ranking the fighters based on like some kind of performance or grading system, I guess. So they ranked them 1 through 4 for each of the groups that they had. So this is what they ended up doing as the ranking system. So these are the matchups that we'll see eventually on the card. So obviously the first matchup we have is Nate Jennerman for Conor McGregor and versus Roosevelt Roberts from Chandler. So Roosevelt Roberts, very interesting fighter. He was with the UFC for a little bit. He was decent. He was a decent fighter, but ended up kind of just going on a couple fight losing streak and then ended up getting cut. But on his way out, he got, spinning back kicked by Ignacio Bahamondes, which was a vicious KO. I think I had it on like my shorts channel. That crazy KO was insane, but he kind of ended it that way. But he was a very solid fighter. Nate Jennerman, didn't know too much about him in general. Saw him hitting the pads. I was like, oh dear. It looked like he was pretty decent on the ground. But man, if you saw it when that fight started, that he didn't really know too much on the feet. Let's be real. It didn't look too great. But going on, it's basically your standard Ultimate Fighter format. I wish they kind of put more Conor stuff, more Chandler stuff. They had like the after TUF thing that I'll kind of get into a little bit. where they had a lot of stuff they cut out of the episode, which I thought they probably could have put in. But your standard TUF format, they basically show some of the training, some of the sparring, and then they go to the backstory of a couple of the fighters, and then they lead into the matchup. Pretty standard format for The Ultimate Fighter. I did watch this one live, so last year I didn't do that with Pena Nunes. I didn't do it with Ortega versus Volkanovski. So this was a little different because it did feel like we were getting crammed with tons of ads here. Like I wasn't used to it. I think they crammed in more ads. I guess that you got more people watching this season because Conor McGregor's on it, so they want to just jam you with ads so they can get the most revenue. But I don't know, man. I thought that was a little much, especially in like the parts where it kind of just got stale because it starts out pretty hot in general. The general TUF episodes, it starts off hot. Maybe you have like a challenge or whatever, and then you go into the training and then the backstory, which is sometimes entertaining, but it's like this. It stagnates and then you get the fight. So it kind of just starts boom, boom, and then boom. I'm trying to see on the camera, but it starts off hot, kind of stagnates in the middle, and then goes off hot towards the end of the video. So, or not end of the video, but end of the episode. So they started loading ads towards the middle of the episode. Like you'll get like 3 minutes or like 5 minutes about someone's backstory ad, which is like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. It's like, it really kind of ruined the episode, in my opinion, a little bit. I thought they overdid it a little bit much. Maybe that's just something I got to get used to, but it did kind of take it out a little bit more of the episode. But just getting into the fight in general, again, you had some of the training, nothing too crazy here. I will get kind of into more of the next episode of what we might see there. But for Roosevelt Robert versus Nate Jennerman, the weigh-ins, I guess I'll get into that in a second. But for that matchup, Roosevelt Roberts ended up finishing him in 8 seconds. At the beginning of the fight, it didn't even look like Nate Jennerman really even knew what he was doing on the feet. I'm going to be completely honest. The punches that he kind of just threw out there were like, ugh. He just ended up getting KO'd in 8 seconds. So, good win for Roosevelt Roberts. Not really surprised, I'm going to be honest. Roosevelt Roberts is very solid. UFC unranked kind of area, territory that he was in. Like, I would say like middle unranked, maybe a little bit higher unranked, but that was the kind of area he was. Nate Jennerman, not that level at all. Got hurt very badly in that matchup. But for this one, Conor McGregor didn't even show up to the weigh-ins. That was a big thing here. It kind of just forecasted like how much Conor McGregor's really interested in this thing. I think he's really only there for like Lee Hammond. I'm gonna be completely honest, which is why the UFC kind of allowed him, because there's all that drama where guys were getting kicked off the show supposedly because Conor McGregor wanted to bring in his guys, even though it was just Lee Hammond. But very interesting scenario there. Going into next week's show, they gave it a little bit of a preview, which it looks a little bit more interesting. So I'm not going to be too critical of the series yet, but if it does get a little bit boring, like the after TUF stuff, they had so much stuff I feel like they could have put in, kind of removed a little bit of more of the Sabi stuff in the middle of the episode. Like, this is the debut episode, like chill on the Sabi stuff. Like, even though it's pretty cool, it's cool to know some of these guys' backstories. I wish they didn't do so much into it and kind of break it up with ads, which made it feel even more elongated. They had so much stuff. Like, there was clips of Chandler and Conor McGregor arguing for like an extended period of time. I feel like you could have put that in, and they didn't. So it was just really unfortunate there. I wish we got more Conor. Like, we haven't seen Conor in a while. People want to see Conor. We didn't see too much of him. Like, we saw a little bit of him, but we didn't see too much of him. I wish we did see a little bit more in this episode, but it does seem like the drama is going to pick up a little bit more in the show in the next couple episodes. And diving into that, I think what it seems like, it looked like Islam Makhachev was watching the training of Timur Valiev, which Timur Valiev's a Russian dude. The next week's fight is going to be Trevor Wells versus Timur Valiev. I think Valiev has a really good shot at winning the whole entire contest. I'm going to be completely honest. For the bantamweight division, he has a really good shot at winning it. I believe he did get cut after one fight he lost. I think he's like 2-1, 3-1 in the UFC, and got cut after the loss. It was kind of a really weird cut in general, so they brought him back on the show. I think Islam Makhachev kind of makes a visit there. I know Islam and Chandler don't really like each other too much, which is kind of interesting. I'm not going to spoil necessarily all the people that are visiting, because they did kind of leak out, especially for Conor's side, who's going to be visiting. But my guess for Chandler would be like a Gilbert Burns or something, someone inside Kill Cliff that would be like visiting for the event there. But next episode looks really entertaining. Looks like there's a lot of drama. I'm gonna say Valium's gonna win in the next episode. I don't think I'm missing anything here, but I think there are some issues, or at least were some issues with this first episode, but I think it was a very solid episode. Hopefully the next one's a little bit better, and at least I hope it picks up a little bit more drama wise and I kind of settle in a little bit more, which it looks like it'll be a little bit better. But I really enjoyed the episode for what it was. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think of the first episode down below in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.